Hey guys, this is Rock King 3 bringing another live commentary Forza 5. And today we're in the Ford Mustang Cobra SVT. I don't know if I said the year 2000 or not, but it's a 2000 Ford Mustang. And I had a subscriber request it, and I am trying to make something good out of it. It's actually not too bad of a car to drive. I kind of built a balanced car where it accelerates pretty well. It brakes pretty well and still has some decent handling to it. You can see it doesn't quite handle as well as that my B Monstrosity's Stradale, but that's a pretty amazing car anyway, so it's kind of hard to match that with any car in B class. Don't know if I mentioned that either. This is a B class Mustang. We're on the Road America full. And not picking on B-Mon, he actually had a really good time on this track with that Stradale. I think it's about 280th about. So we're putting down a pretty good time against this. So the request was just to make a top 2000 Cobra, and I think we have it. I think this is about a 250th on a lot of tracks. Nothing, you know, from a technical turning track, you wouldn't be able to take it there and hit in the top 250, but you might be able to get top 500. But overall, this car is pretty strong. Pretty impressed with it. Broke a little late there. Didn't know if I needed a downshift, but I did. Alright, how are we doing? The Stradale's right behind me. His car's going to have some acceleration over me, so I need to make sure I make a good turn out of here. Oh, nope, slid a little bit. Alright, 222 is the time to beat. 280th place about. And it looks like we're going to pull it off. Ah, I love that. Congratulations, you beat B Monstrosity. Just kidding, not picking on you, bud. Alright, we'll see you in the parts bin. Alright, and we're back. So this Ford Cobra turned out pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it. I ended up 236th on that lap, so that wasn't too bad. So let's go through the parts, and looks like we stayed with the stock engine. We did the centrifugal supercharger. I actually did work with these other ones a little bit just from a number perspective, and this was the best bang for the PI. Alright, so we have the centrifugal supercharger. You're going to see a lot of check marks in here. I tried to do some combinations with some horsepower, but I had to get tires back. This car just slid around way too much without better tires, so you're going to see that we probably don't have too much from a engine upgrade. So far, everything up to this pistons and compressions have been stock. This one will be the race centrifugal supercharger. They gave us 49 horsepower for 25 PI. It was a really big gain. They typically do that. And to be honest, I did this street intercooler. I don't usually work with this side of it. You get a lot of horsepower for very little PI, but it also makes your car a lot heavier. I actually had to use a street intercooler to make it 600. You can see I was at 601 without the intercooler stock, and I added the street intercooler and got a -1 on the PI. I actually gained 7 horsepower, but it did make the car a little bit heavier. Let me see how much. You can see it added quite a bit of weight there. But the good news is I got to my 600 PI, and I was having a hard time doing that. So the rest of this will be stock in here. Alright, let's move on to the suspension. We're going to have race brakes. We're going to have race springs. We're going to have race front and rear anti-roll bar to make sure everything's adjustable. We have the race chassis. Looks like it kind of evens out. So we definitely, kept the handling and the braking by going with the full cage. Car is kind of wiggly a little bit, so it was good to get the roll cage. Did the full weight reduction because I was trying to get that acceleration number up. You see we're only at 8.2, and I say only 8.2. It's still pretty good, but compared to some of the other ones, it's a little bit lower. But it still has a good top speed, 6.7. So that'll work really good, like on Bathurst and stuff like that. All right, from drivetrain, we're gonna have stock everything so far, and stock driveline, and the race differential. You can see I tried out a few things. All right, so here's the important part, and you can make decisions around this as well. You can see that I went all the way up to race tires. However, I lost a lot of speed, so the car was really easy to drive, but it just wasn't fast enough. So I started up in the race tires area, and my times were a little bit slow. So I started working my way down, so I was trying to give up horsepower for tires, and I started giving up tires for horsepower in this case. So I ended up down in the street tire compound. I did run stock as well, but it was just too slippery. So I did at least go with the street tire. That made the car reasonably fast, and it still made it handle reasonably well. I have the stock front width, and I have the full race upgraded tire width in the rear, 315/30R19. You can see that we lose some braking and some handling when I reduce that, and launch for that matter. Definitely some stickiness there. Went with the heaviest rims, these LTC 701s. You can go with the weight equivalent on that as well. For some reason, somebody seems to think that these are my wheels, and I will say I do use them a lot. I use these two quite a bit because I don't find the penalty for running really heavy wheels. Sometimes I don't run them when I actually have some PI to spend, but generally I'm always trying to scrape out some PI. Here we have the upgraded front rim size on that one, and we have the same on the rear. We have R19s in the rear as well. Alright, we're going to have the race front wing and rear wing, Forza wing, and let's see what we have for a tune. Okay, on the tuning side we have the tire pressure at 27.5 front and rear. I've been playing with a little bit lower pressures. It's about as low as I've been going. We have the stock transmission. Alignment's going to be a little bit different than my usual. Went with a negative 3.0 in the front and a negative 2.0 in the back, and I evened out the toe. I think that's the way it came stock, so I left them as that. Front caster I went up from 5.0 to 5.7 just to make up for the additional negativity I have here at the top. Standard anti-roll bars 23.92 in the front. Muscle cars 17.96 in the rear. Springs are pretty typical, kind of in the middle, a little bit softer than usual. 781.3 in the front. Rear 723.1 in the rear. Left the ride height alone. It is a little bit short. If you hit some of those tracks, you need to raise that up a little bit. It is kind of a low car. Rebound stiffness. This is kind of a starting point for me with the 10.092. I went a little bit stiffer in the rebound stiffness for the rear. The bump is a starting point for me with the 4.0 and 2.0. Adjust that to your driving style. You can go a little bit softer if you'd like. I'm not losing traction, so I can actually probably go up with this a little bit. But right now it's working pretty well. Didn't quite go with all the downforce. I didn't want to lose some of the top speed. So I have 90 pounds in the front and 174 in the rear. You can adjust that depending on the track and your driving style as well. Standard brakes for me, 53% and 140%. Differential kept a little bit lower due to the higher horsepower, 36 in the acceleration and 13% in the deceleration. Hope that's a good baseline for you guys. Give it a try. It should be about a top 50 car. If you raced 6 to 10 laps on a track, you should be able to get that in the top 250. Overall, it's a fun car. I took it out on the multiplayer one time, and it's just kind of a cool looking car to begin with. So hope you enjoy it, and good luck with that. See you guys in the next one. Later.